One, two, two. Hold on, he's moving back. Now, how about that? Okay, and the light right there is good. Hey, you good? Okay. All right.
Thank you all for coming today. We will get started momentarily. Please silence your cell phones. When it is time to take questions, please approach the podium, state your name and who you work for. Go ahead, Chief.
All right, I'm going to start off with everyone introducing themselves, left to right.
Vernell Newsom, Commander, 6th Precinct.
Shelley Hildebrand, the Commander of the 4th Precinct.
Franklin Hayes, Deputy Chief, Crime Strategies Bureau.
Charles Fitzgerald, Assistant Chief, Office of Enforcement Operations.
Ian Severy, Commander, Major Crimes.
All right, we've received a number of media requests regarding a couple of high-profile incidents, so we decided to call this conference for a couple reasons, to update you and certainly to be transparent with our community. I'm going to start with a 4 people shot case. This is a quadruple shooting that happened, including one woman who remains in critical condition. There was a total of 4 people, 2 children, a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and 2 18-year-old women. We have made an arrest or detainment of a juvenile. The juvenile is in custody at this time. The case remains open. We are still working to identify additional suspects in this case. At this time, as I indicated, the juvenile is in custody. With regards to this case, as I indicated, the 18-year-old pregnant woman is still fighting for her life. It appears that the child, fortunately, will survive, at least at this time. The information around the case, we can't go into great detail yet, as we are working with the prosecutor's office with the warrant. But again, we thought it was important to bring that case to your attention, as no additional, there's one additional suspect that we're looking at, but we don't feel that anyone in the community is at risk and that those folks are off the street, or at least one of them. I want to move on to an incident that happened yesterday. 3 people shot, and I apologize, I don't have my other set of notes. Give me 1 second. So double homicide. Shooting happened yesterday. Also in the 4th Precinct, we'll be talking about another incident involving Cinco de Mayo, but for right now, there were 3 people shot, 2 died in the area of Michigan Avenue and Junction at approximately 2 p.m. Preliminarily, we know that this case has a drug nexus. We recovered drug paraphernalia from the home. We have a female in her 40s that was killed, a female in her 20s that was killed, and a male approximately in his 30s that is in extremely critical condition. This was a vacant property. As I indicated, narcotic paraphernalia was found inside of the residence, and we are now looking for a black male driving a dark gray newer model Dodge Durango. Again, that's a black male driving a Dodge Durango. We are asking the community for help. In this case, we'll have stills of this vehicle provided to you by the conclusion of this briefing. Anyone with information is asked to call Detroit Police Major Crimes at 596-2260 or Detroit Rewards TV online. You can leave a tip, you can remain anonymous, and you can receive an award. Finally, I want to move on to Cinco de Mayo. I know that social media has reported erroneously a number of factors with regards to Cinco de Mayo. First and foremost, I know that those social media posts can be convincing, but we did not, and I repeat, we did not shut down Cinco de Mayo. Brought the commander from the 4th Precinct, who was not only the commanding officer in charge of the event, but was actually on the ground, who can speak to specifics. So despite the media reports, we did not shut down Cinco de Mayo. Thousands of people attended and enjoyed the event. There were a number of instances where overcrowding was a safety issue. Some businesses had overcrowding, double and triple capacity, which obviously creates a number of issues for us. And a decision was made at that time to pause that business, whether it be to allow for traffic to dissipate, move from that area and move into other areas. But no businesses were shut down and told that they could not run their business. But some customers were restricted from moving into an event that was at capacity temporarily. And again, that was temporarily. So those are the three updates. If there's any questions, we can move to that now.
Hi, Chief. Mara McDonald from WDIV. I actually have two, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Can we talk about the suspect you have in custody for the fourth shot on Faust? You say it's a juvenile. Are we talking like 15? Are we talking 17? And what's his connection to the women who were fighting?
Yeah, so we believe, I can't get into too much detail. I will tell you that it is a 16-year-old male. We believe that he is our shooter. And that's really as far as I can go. The relationship with the folks that were fighting could compromise the work that the prosecutor has to do. So I can't get into that right now. But once that part of everything is buttoned up, we will be much more detailed, even providing a photo of the person and some more details as to the case.
And the children who were shot during that, do you know how they are?
Yes, they are both expected to make a full recovery. So we're pretty happy about that. But still, I mean, 2 children shot, very traumatic, and they'll have to live with that for the rest of their lives.
And switching gears to Cinco de Mayo, I too have seen all that stuff on social media.
Yeah.
I was out of town this weekend and not in the newsroom, so I wasn't here to see it. When you talk about pausing, I mean, are we talking about businesses that were so over capacity it would have been like a fire hazard, or was it, or are we talking about general areas that were maybe paused where people were told not to come into? I guess I'm trying to understand, have a little more clarity.
That's a fair question. I'll bring up the commander to talk about what happened.
Yes, so a lot of the businesses were over capacity, but we never shut that down. But the crowds that were developing outside the businesses, we asked them to move on. We had even gas stations where they could not get business because they were crowding into those parking lots, not allowing folks to get in and to get gas. So we just moved them along, but we did not shut them down.
Thank you.
Faraz Javed from Channel 7. 2 questions for you, Chief. So we were out there in the community. We spoke to a couple of folks, even some business owners as well. They described the situation as chaotic. I believe 7 people were also detained during the Cinco de Mayo, what they described as shutdown. One thing they brought up was that it was very confusing for them as to why the police were doing what they were doing. So the first question is there a reason why the information wasn't being shared allegedly with folks out there?
What information not being shared?
Because none of them knew why the police were shutting down Werner, for example, and why people were asked to either stay outside or not enter a certain business. Because folks described it as a situation about like at least 60 businesses were asked to close. That's what they described it as.
Okay. Well, it was thousands of people at Cinco de Mayo. You may have seen the parade, and then as well as people celebrating. I mean, thousands of people. We have to keep folks safe. I wasn't on the ground for that event, but I did get a lot of updates, and everything I saw was because of public safety. And I'll let the commander speak to what type of notifications, or even if it were possible with that volume of people in that particularly defined area. You want to come up and talk about that?
So we did keep Werner shut down because there were, and my over 30 years of living in that area as well as working, we had such a great show out. It really was a lot of people, but the pedestrian traffic in the streets had stopped us from allowing the vehicular traffic to start back up. It would have caused a great public safety issue.
So the community was also asking, this event has been going on for nearly 6 decades. Is there not a plan in place for them to have that event, successfully without any hindrance or, stoppage from the police? Also, is there anything they can, anything the police can do better to help, share that information with folks out there?
I don't think that's a fair question. When you talk about safely and the decades that event's been going on, we supported that event. We were present for that event. We policed that event. And with thousands of people, thousands of people in the street, we have to make sure that they're okay. Because if something happened to them, you would be asking me, why did something happen to them? We don't want them to get run over by cars. We don't want anybody to get shot. We don't want anybody to get hurt. And out of thousands and thousands of people on a 3-day celebration, we had 8 people that were detained and ticketed, mostly for disorderly conduct and being intoxicated, being overserved. We had a number of businesses that were not licensed. We had a number of food trucks that were not licensed. We had businesses that were engaging in activities that they were not authorized to engage in. And if someone would have been hurt, we'd be having a very different conversation once again. So we don't get to call time out. We have to work every single day to keep every single person safe. And what happened, the commander made the decision that it was unsafe to let vehicular traffic drive through thousands of people. And I support that decision. It was a temporary inconvenience. Once that cleared up, it opened up. And there are thousands of people that have a very different story to tell and had a very good time. I know of 2 people that I've seen on social media. One person in particular, the venue that she was performing at was shut down temporarily because it was over capacity. She did not get an opportunity to perform, and I understand she was probably highly frustrated because I would imagine if she didn't get an opportunity to perform, she didn't get paid. But again, the bigger picture is the safety of everybody who lives, works, visits, and plays in our city. And I think when you send thousands of people home, 8 people got detained mostly for being intoxicated and being disorderly, I think that's a successful event.
Thank you, Chief.
All right.
Hi, Chief. Ingrid from Fox 2. Can you address allegations of racism as to how this event was handled versus the draft?
Okay, so those are 2 totally different events, number one. The allegations of racism are improper, unwarranted. This is an event that we support. Our own mayor walked in the parade. I support the event. The commander who grew up in that community understands the event, understands the importance of the event. I think they're unwarranted and unbalanced allegations, and I don't know what they're based on. This is a very serious business, policing, and we're in times right now where people can make decisions in a split second that affects thousands of people. And what we had to do, and what the commander made the decision to do, along with the captain, is to put the safety of everyone in that community on the forefront of the event. Make it number one, make it paramount to the success of the event, and that's exactly what they did. So that temporary pause and opening it back up, you want to talk about how many people on the 3 days that came through there that you personally were out there with?
We don't have Evolve, so we don't have an exact amount, but there were thousands of people, and it was an absolutely great event. And it went on till probably 11, 12 o'clock at night before we finally started to get folks, cleared out. But we did not. It was a great event, and you have to understand it goes from Woodmere all the way down to 21st, where we had a festival, which was gridlocked for a long time, but had a lot of officers out there. They did a lot of work. Me and my captain were out there for over 16 hours. So I believe it. I truly believe it was a really good event.
Thank you.
Chief Aldous Gutierrez, CBS Detroit. Regarding the quadruple shooting, can you talk about, at this point in your investigation, the gun that was used in the incident, the 16-year-old? How did he obtain it? The origin of the weapon, was it through, unsecured at home? Did he steal it?
Yeah, we're going to get into all of that. I probably have already put too much out on it, but I wanted the community to know that no one else is at risk. When you get a quadruple shooting, you get a lot of calls and people saying, what's going on with the arrest? Is anybody in custody? those are valid questions. We will certainly provide as much as we can once the prosecutor chimes in with her work. I don't want to make it more difficult for her in talking too much, and certainly this much is enough. But we will be talking about where the gun came from, how he got it, or how she got it, and all the details in a future release. We'll also be sharing information about who they are, what caused this, and all the details, but we just can't get into it right now.
Along the lines, any possibility that you guys may be going after the parents in this case?
Everything's on the table. We're confident in our suspect. We're extraordinarily confident in our suspect. But we're also going to be looking at all aspects that led to this moment in time and the tragedy of 4 people being shot and 2 young children. What led to it, who was involved, who could have done something, who could have intervened, where did the gun come from, where were the parents, all of that's going to come into play. But right now, the community just needs to know that there is no further risk of these suspects or this suspect hurting anyone else.
And then regarding Cinco de Mayo, Councilwoman Mary Waters is requesting your presence at tomorrow's council meeting. Will you accept her invitation?
Certainly I always accept the council's invitations absent any, critical incident, things such as that. But she and I have already had an opportunity to talk. We've talked through precisely what happened, providing her with some specifics as to what we encountered, including some pictures and things such as that, that I'll be sharing with her. And if I'm still needed in the councilwoman's office or chambers, I'll be there.
Thanks so much, sir.
All right.
I just have a very quick question, Chief. Camille from Fox 2. Just want to know, there was 2 women in that quadruple shooting. One still in critical. She's the pregnant one, right?
Yes.
And you said the pregnancy is still viable?
Yeah, and I only put that out there because I constantly get asked that question, and that's really good news. But that's what we were told. That's what we were briefed. So yes.
And then the other woman has been released?
No, my understanding is she is still in.
She's what?
Still in the hospital.
Okay, but
Yeah.
do you have a condition?
Very serious. And again, I get these updates, and they can change when you're in the hospital dealing with gunshot wounds. Things could change in seconds. But my understanding is the one woman is very serious condition, but not critical. The pregnant woman is critical, and the 2 children are in good condition. They are going to be just fine.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody.